Let's take a moment and consider the pain that our nation is experiencing right now. Pain from our black sisters and brothers who've been suffering under the weight of systemic racism for far too long. And alongside that pain, empathy is thankfully on the rise, as I know many of us are beginning to feel their pain in ways that we've never felt it before. And all this is colliding to create a moment where real change can happen. And Jesus followers, we need to understand this. Jesus is right at the center of this movement for justice and equality, because that's what Jesus does. He came to restore everything that was broken, including racism. And we talked about this last summer. The series was called The Power of a Letter. The talk titled Walls of Division on July 28th, 2019. And if you want to go back and listen or re-listen to that, you can find it on our podcast. But we talked about this, and I just want to give a little preview and do the analogy that I did last summer to give us a glimpse of what Jesus wants to do in this moment. Ephesians 2:14 says, "For Christ himself has brought peace to us. He united Jews and Gentiles." Tons of racial hostility between those two groups. But he united Jews and Gentiles into one people when, in his own body on the cross, he broke down the wall of hostility that separated us. Here's the reality. We are good at building walls. When we're little, many of us built walls with Legos. And then when we're older, we very naturally transition to building walls of prejudice and racism, setting up environments where it's us versus them. And here's what Ephesians chapter 2 is telling us. What we build to divide, Jesus to unite. That is what Jesus did on the cross when it comes to racism. What we build to divide, Jesus demolishes to unite. And as his body was broken on the cross, he was tearing down walls of racism. And he's still doing that and wants to do that in your heart and in my heart and in hearts and systems all across our nation. Jesus is right at the center of this move for justice. Will we join him there?